There comes a time in every woman's journey when she must reflect on the relationships in her life and ask, is this partnership helping me grow or is it draining me? We often think about cutting off people with dramatic flair, confrontations, heated arguments, and loud goodbyes. But true wisdom, the kind that comes from deep within, knows that the most powerful cuts are silent. These cuts are not made with sharp words or grand gestures. They are made with quiet, firm decisions that protect your peace and your purpose. It's important to understand that these decisions are not made in anger or out of a desire to punish. Wise women know that sometimes the most loving thing they can do is to create space between themselves and those who diminish them. It's a silent act of self-preservation, a commitment to protect what is sacred within. These decisions allow them to focus on the people who uplift, support, and help them grow. Remember, there is power in stillness. In the quiet moments of stepping away, a woman's inner strength rises. She doesn't need validation from the world to know she is making the right choices. Her peace, her clarity, and her purpose will always guide her. Beloved, one of the most common yet most dangerous types of people in our lives are the drainers of energy. These individuals, often unknowingly, take more than they give, leaving you feeling exhausted, worn out, and sometimes even questioning your own worth. They feed off your vitality, pulling you into a never-ending cycle of giving while offering little or nothing in return. Their presence, though sometimes subtle, is like a silent thief that steals your emotional, mental, and physical reserves. At first, it might be difficult to notice them because their needs seem innocent enough. They may ask for your time, your help, or your support. And of course, as a compassionate person, you give. But over time, you begin to realize that no matter how much you give, it's never enough. They always need more, and what you receive in return is a growing sense of depletion. These people don't recognize the balance that is necessary in any relationship. They take without ever thinking about the cost to you. It's important to understand that energy drainers are not always malicious. Sometimes they don't even realize the impact they have on others. They may genuinely be going through tough times and seek out your kindness, thinking you'll always be there to carry them. They don't mean to deplete you, but they are often unaware of how much of your personal energy they are consuming. These relationships can be incredibly tricky because it's hard to say no to someone who seems to need help or support, especially when you care deeply about them. But here's the hard truth, beloved. Constantly giving to someone who never offers reciprocity can lead to a slow and quiet erosion of your own well-being. It's not selfish to recognize when someone is draining you. In fact, it's an act of deep self-respect. When you find yourself emotionally, mentally, or even physically exhausted after spending time with certain people, it's a sign that they may be draining you. The more they take, the less energy you have for your own dreams, your own growth, and your own happiness. One of the most insidious aspects of energy drainers is their ability to mask their behavior. They might show up in your life in different forms: a friend, a colleague, a family member, or even a partner. They can be charming and seemingly supportive when they need something from you. They may express gratitude for your help, making you feel good about giving, but the pattern becomes evident when you find that the more you give, the more they ask for, and the less they offer in return. What makes these relationships particularly damaging is that they often leave you feeling guilty when you begin to recognize the imbalance. You may start to question your own generosity, wondering if you're being too harsh or unkind by pulling back. But beloved, understand this: protecting your energy is not a betrayal of love or friendship. In fact, it's the most loving thing you can do for both yourself and the other person. By letting go of the ones who drain you, you free yourself to invest in relationships that nourish and empower you. Wise women understand that the greatest gift they can give to themselves is the ability to create boundaries with those who take more than they give. This doesn't mean they walk away from relationships in anger or frustration. Instead, they make a conscious choice to pull back, to give less, and to reserve their energy for those who reciprocate their care and kindness. They do this not because they don't love the other person, but because they understand that their own well-being is crucial in order to continue being a source of light and support for others. Ultimately, cutting off energy drainers silently is not about severing relationships with harsh words or emotional outbursts. It's about recognizing your worth, setting healthy boundaries, and choosing to surround yourself with those who replenish your soul rather than deplete it. It's about understanding that you cannot pour from an empty cup and that your energy is sacred. By cutting off those who drain you, you create the space necessary for new relationships to blossom. Relationships that nurture, uplift, and align with the person you are becoming. Beloved, another type of person that wise women must learn to recognize and distance themselves from are the critics without compassion. These individuals are the ones who feel entitled to judge, critique, and correct you at every turn. They are quick to point out flaws, failures, and mistakes, but slow to offer any constructive feedback or support. Their words, though often cloaked in the guise of help or honesty, come with little care for your feelings, leaving you wounded and questioning your worth. The critics without compassion thrive on pointing out what's wrong rather than highlighting what's right. They focus on what you could have done better, what you should have done differently, and what you lack. They never celebrate your wins or your progress. It's as though their entire existence revolves around reminding you of your imperfections and mistakes. These are the individuals who have perfected the art of criticism without empathy, feedback without encouragement, and advice without kindness. What makes these critics so dangerous is not just their words, but the effect they have on your spirit. After spending time with them, you often feel less than, as though you've been exposed, vulnerable, and exposed to their harsh judgments. They make you second guess your decisions, question your abilities, and wonder if you're truly capable. The worst part, they often cloak their criticism in a veneer of tough love or honest opinions, which can make you feel like you're being ungrateful if you challenge their comments. In reality, there's no real love in their words, only the desire to control and correct. Wise women understand that there is a difference between constructive criticism and criticism without compassion. Constructive criticism is given with the intention of helping you improve, and it is always delivered with kindness, respect, and understanding. A true supporter will point out areas for growth while also recognizing your efforts, strengths, and progress. The critic without compassion, on the other hand, will strip you of your dignity, leaving only their opinions, often delivered with little care for the impact on your emotional well-being. When you're on the receiving end of such criticism, it can leave you feeling small, defeated, and unsure of your path. It's important to recognize that this is not the reflection of your true self. The harsh words of these critics are not a reflection of your worth, but rather a reflection of their inability to offer anything of value. They may want to tear you down to feel better about themselves, or they may project their own fears and insecurities onto you. Either way, their judgment says more about them than it does about you. One of the most empowering things a wise woman can do is to stop seeking validation from critics without compassion. These people are not sources of wisdom, nor do they have the ability to offer you the support you need. Instead of clinging to their opinions or trying to please them, wise women understand that their value is not determined by someone else's harsh words. They learn to trust their own instincts, their own journey, and the voices that offer support, not condemnation. A critical voice without compassion serves no purpose but to diminish your spirit. Wise women learn to silence these voices not by confrontation, but by quiet rejection. They distance themselves from people who criticize with no desire to build them up. They choose to invest their energy in those who support their growth, not in those who tear them down. They understand that they deserve to be surrounded by people who encourage, celebrate, and lovingly challenge them, not those who only point out flaws. Letting go of the critics without compassion can be a painful process. It often means distancing yourself from people you thought were friends or allies. But, beloved, remember this: you are worthy of kindness, respect, and understanding. The path to growth is not paved by constant judgment, but by a gentle, compassionate approach to self-improvement. When you free yourself from the harsh critics, you create space for the voices that lift you up, the ones that remind you of your beauty, your strength, and your potential. Beloved, another type of person wise women must be vigilant about is the drama seekers. These are the individuals who thrive on chaos, conflict, and confusion. For them, life seems to be a never-ending soap opera, with each moment an opportunity to stir up trouble, create unnecessary tension, and drag others into their whirlwind of emotional turmoil. Drama seekers are not content with peace or stability. They find themselves bored or uncomfortable in calm environments, often resorting to exaggeration, conflict, or emotional manipulation to keep things in a state of chaos. At first, you might not realize you're dealing with a drama seeker. They may come across as exciting, passionate, or even entertaining. They can be charming and magnetic, drawing you into their stories, their issues, and their supposed need for help. But over time, you begin to notice that the stories they tell are often full of crisis, conflict, and exaggerated problems. Their lives are filled with one catastrophe after another. And no matter how much they claim to have resolved one issue, another one quickly emerges. Drama seekers are experts at creating situations where nothing is ever truly resolved. They may start arguments over small, inconsequential matters, blow things out of proportion, or hold on to grudges far longer than necessary. What's worse is that they often drag others into these dramatic scenarios, expecting them to take sides, offer solutions, or simply serve as emotional sounding boards. Wise women understand that this type of behavior is not only exhausting, but also toxic. Being around someone who is constantly stirring the pot, always seeking out a problem to fix or a crisis to escalate, can leave you feeling mentally and emotionally drained. These people seem to have an innate ability to attract drama, and once you're in their orbit, you find yourself pulled into the chaos. You might begin to feel that every interaction with them is filled with stress, confusion, and unnecessary conflict. What starts as a minor disagreement can quickly escalate into a full-blown emotional roller coaster. The drama seeker often thrives on these heightened emotional states, feeding off the energy of the conflict they've created. The more they can stir the pot, the more alive they feel. A drama seeker often refuses to acknowledge the role they play in perpetuating the chaos. They will point fingers, blame others, and never take responsibility for their part in creating conflict. They may portray themselves as the victim, claiming that the world is against them or that other people are the source of their problems. This manipulative behavior not only prevents them from ever truly resolving anything, but it also leaves you feeling trapped in their cycle of dysfunction. The more you try to help, the deeper you get sucked into their vortex of turmoil. For wise women, recognizing the drama seeker is an act of self-preservation. These individuals are not looking for real solutions. They are looking for attention, for validation, for the thrill of an emotional high that comes from conflict. And they will stop at nothing to get it. A wise woman knows that her peace, her clarity, and her mental health are worth far more than the temporary excitement or drama that a drama seeker may bring. She understands that by engaging with these individuals, she risks being dragged into a world of chaos that only distracts her from her own path. Choosing to disengage from drama seekers doesn't mean abandoning them or turning a blind eye to their struggles. It means understanding that you cannot solve their problems for them, and that their need for drama will not allow for true resolution. Wise women know that the best thing they can do is create boundaries by not feeding into their emotional fires, by not taking sides, and by refusing to be drawn into their conflicts. It's not about being cold or unkind. It's about protecting your energy and your peace. Ultimately, distancing yourself from drama seekers is an act of strength, not weakness. It is a reminder that you value your emotional well-being more than the noise that surrounds you. Wise women understand that true peace comes from within, and they choose to nurture that peace by stepping away from individuals who feed on conflict. They recognize that they cannot control other people's need for drama, that they can control how much they allow that drama to affect their own lives. Beloved, one of the most draining and frustrating types of people a wise woman may encounter are the users. These are the individuals who show up in your life only when they need something, whether it's your time, your resources, your energy, or your support. At first glance, they may appear to be friends, colleagues, or even family members, but upon closer inspection, it becomes clear that their relationship with you is transactional. They take from you freely, but when it's time to give back, they disappear into the shadows, leaving you feeling unnoticed and unappreciated. The user is often skilled at appearing genuinely concerned about your well-being when they need something from you. They know how to be charming, attentive, and convincing, weaving their needs into the fabric of the conversation. They will ask for your help in a way that makes you feel like the most important person in their life, building a temporary bond under the guise of gratitude and necessity. But once they've gotten what they wanted, they vanish. And you're left wondering if you were ever truly important to them at all. What makes users particularly damaging is their lack of genuine reciprocity. Unlike a healthy relationship where support and help are mutual and balanced, the user takes without giving back. They may never offer their help when you need it, and when they do, it often feels half-hearted or performative. They may promise to return the favor, but those promises are rarely kept. Over time, you begin to feel like nothing more than a resource for them, someone to be used when it's convenient, but cast aside when their needs are met. This one-sided dynamic can create a deep sense of resentment in the person who is being used. The user doesn't recognize the emotional or physical toll that their demands take on you. They don't see the effort you put into being there for them, the sacrifices you make, or the energy you expend to help them. When they fail to acknowledge your contributions, it can leave you feeling invisible, undervalued, and worst of all, taken for granted. In their eyes, you are a tool to be used, not a person to be respected or appreciated. Beloved, the tricky part about users is that they often operate under the guise of friendship, making it difficult to draw clear boundaries. Their needs are presented in such a way that it's hard to say no without feeling guilty or selfish. You might find yourself saying yes time and time again, even when your own needs are unmet because you've been conditioned to believe that helping others is the right thing to do. Yet over time, you begin to realize that you are constantly the one giving without ever receiving the support, gratitude, or care you deserve in return. Wise women, however, understand the importance of self-respect and healthy boundaries. They know that being generous with your time and resources is a beautiful thing, but it should never come at the expense of your own well-being. They recognize that not everyone who asks for help is deserving of it, and that sometimes saying no is the most loving thing they can do for both themselves and the other person. Wise women do not let themselves be exploited by users, but instead, they learn to guard their energy and offer their time only to those who truly appreciate and reciprocate their efforts. The most difficult part of dealing with users is that it often involves acknowledging the painful truth that these people do not truly care about you. Their relationships with you are transactional, and they are only present when they need something. They may never return the favor, or worse, they may act as though their needs are far more important than yours. Wise women understand that their value is not determined by how much they can do for others, but by who they are and how they choose to show up in the world. They learn to let go of relationships that are defined by use and not mutual respect. Ultimately, cutting off users silently is not about turning away from people in anger or bitterness. It's about recognizing the imbalance, honoring your own worth, and deciding to focus your energy on relationships that are based on mutual love, respect, and care. Wise women understand that when they stop pouring from an empty cup, they create space for people who offer nourishment and positivity. They do not waste their precious time and energy on those who take without giving. Instead, they choose to surround themselves with those who uplift, support, and value them, not because of what they can do, but because of who they are. Beloved, perhaps one of the most heartbreaking types of people to encounter in life are the fake allies. These are the individuals who present themselves as your supporters, your friends, your partners, but behind closed doors, they are secretly undermining you, betraying your trust, or sabotaging your efforts. They wear a mask of loyalty and friendship, but underneath it all, their intentions are rooted in envy, insecurity, or self-interest. It is a painful truth to accept that some people will pretend to have your back while quietly working against you. At first, the fake ally seems like an ally indeed. They praise your successes, cheer you on in public, and seem to offer support when you need it most. They may even offer you advice or guidance, and you might believe they are invested in your growth and well-being. They may appear to celebrate your wins, offering words of encouragement and lifting you up in times of challenge. However, with time, the mask begins to slip, and you start to see the cracks in their facade. What's truly insidious about fake allies is their ability to deceive. They often excel at mimicking the behaviors of a true supporter, offering compliments, showing interest in your goals, and offering help when it's convenient. But when you look closer, you begin to notice the subtle ways in which they sabotage you. Perhaps they speak ill of you behind your back, spread rumors, or plant seeds of doubt in the minds of others. They may praise you to your face, but quietly work to discredit your efforts in private, always making sure that they stay one step ahead of you in any competitive situation. These individuals thrive on controlling the narrative. They often find ways to make you appear less competent or less capable to others while positioning themselves as the true hero of the story. It's a dangerous game they play because they are not only undermining you, but they are also manipulating your sense of trust and security. They want to keep you in a vulnerable position where they can maintain control and remain the center of attention. The fake ally may never directly confront you or accuse you. Instead, they engage in passive-aggressive behaviors, using subtle manipulation and deceit to weaken your position. Over time, the consequences of having a fake ally in your life become painfully clear. You begin to feel isolated, confused, and betrayed. The trust you placed in them starts to crumble, and the relationship becomes fraught with tension. You start questioning your own judgment, wondering how you could have been so blind to their true nature. In some cases, the betrayal is so deep that it leaves you emotionally scarred, wondering if anyone can truly be trusted again. The fake ally's betrayal may not always be overt, but the damage they cause is no less real. Beloved, the key to dealing with a fake ally is to recognize the signs early. Wise women understand that true support is unconditional, honest, and transparent. A real ally will celebrate your wins, offer constructive criticism, and genuinely be happy for your success without feeling threatened by it. They will not engage in backhanded compliments, nor will they ever try to diminish your achievements in private. True allies stand by your side both in public and in private, offering unwavering support and encouragement. If someone is only there for the good times but disappears when you need help or begins to speak ill of you to others, they are not your ally. They are your competitor in disguise. When you find yourself surrounded by fake allies, it's important to remember that their behavior says more about them than it does about you. They are driven by their own fears, insecurities, and desires for power or attention. They may feel threatened by your success or resentful of the progress you've made. A wise woman understands that no amount of manipulation or betrayal can dim her light, and she learns to guard her heart and her dreams from those who seek to tear her down. She trusts her intuition, which will always guide her away from people who seek to use her as a stepping stone for their own gain. Cutting ties with fake allies is often a quiet process. There is no dramatic confrontation or explosive argument. Wise women know that confronting them directly will often only give them the attention they crave. Instead, they begin to pull back, creating healthy boundaries that protect their emotional and mental well-being. They no longer share their deepest thoughts or dreams with these individuals, knowing that their vulnerability will only be used against them. In time, the fake ally fades away, no longer able to feed off your energy or manipulate the narrative. Ultimately, beloved, wise women understand that their value is not determined by the opinions of those who secretly undermine them. They know that true allies are those who walk beside them in honesty and integrity, lifting them up without ever trying to bring them down. When a fake ally is revealed, they let go not with anger or bitterness, but with clarity and peace. They know that their energy is better spent on relationships that nurture, empower, and inspire, and that the toxic influence of a fake ally no longer has a place in their lives.